You can never predict the ending of this.
The entire thing is bittersweet.
Furious.
Fuming.
Absolutely distraught.
The size of this thing is extraordinary. It's absolutely extraordinary.
Het is zover. Het 8e en laatste seizoen van Game of Thrones komt eraan. Binnenkort weten we eindelijk wie er op de ijzeren troon terechtkomt. Ik had het grote geluk om onlangs in Londen met de hoofdrolspelers te gaan praten en zij wisten mij allemaal te vertellen dat dat laatste seizoen onwaarschijnlijk spectaculaire televisie gaat worden.
Als kijker zul je, neem ik aan, zul je wel blij zijn.
The finishing of this season is bittersweet. It's both joyful and incredibly sad.
I was very impressed by the work that the writers did. I mean, because it's such a impossible task, you know, this massive world and then find some kind of ending, but they did.
I was like speechless after I read it. I had to go on a walk around and around and around for like hours to just process it.
Apparently this season's going to be a conceptual season, and it's going to be like Derek Jarman's Blue but with no sound. It's going to be a blank screen and you just imagine what happens every week.
Well, fantastic.
Everything you did brought you where you are now. Where you belong. Home.
They're coming.
It was very exciting to come to the end of this absolutely extraordinary story, because I think we've all wondered how it might end over the years.
There's no ending to this show that is going to please everyone. And there's no ending to this show that's going to ever feel right, because as the character who's playing it, you're like, I can't, it's a real headfuck to try and, it's a real mind bend to try and...
Oh, you can swear on Belgian TV.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
okay, it's a headfuck.
It's incredibly difficult to say goodbye to something like this because this thing has turned into a cultural phenomenon. It's possibly, apart from Shakespeare, it's probably the best storytelling I've ever come across in the most beautiful words. I'm incredibly indebted to the opportunity to be part of this, and I think we all are.
That's a big quote. No, that's a big claim.
Is it
Shakespeare?
Up there.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Some of the best words that were just delightful to say.
Our enemy doesn't tire, doesn't stop, doesn't feel.
Incredibly emotional, yeah. I realised that alcohol could also be a depressant. On the day that we finally shot, because everyone's like, cracking over the champagne, it's the last day, and you're there going, I feel odd. Everything feels odd.
Ik moest wel huilen.
Ja?
Ja, had ik niet verwacht, maar ik moest huilen. Ja, ik was heel emotioneel.
It was really emotional.
It was.
It
You
was.
cried.
I cried for hours.
I couldn't console her at all.
No.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, it's okay.
And she was like,
I was like, oh God, what do we do? Tissue? Gin?
What was your gin? Would have been good.
It's just been a life-changing working experience, and I think the best thing that you can take from it is that it happened at all, and also the possibility of something new.
Very tricky.
Well, it was very moving because it is. You invest so much time in it, and then it's like, right, that's it, you're done. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Where do we go? You know.
For me, it was a perfect ending to the show. I mean, there was something about, I obviously can't talk about this scene, but it was the setting, the atmosphere, everything was, it was like just the quintessential Game of Thrones, you know, it was just, everything was bottled into that moment. So it was blissful. I was very happy.
It was very hard. It's a very bittersweet experience.
I found it all a bit overwhelming. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop crying.
It was quite moving.
It was, but yeah, I was fine.
Yeah, it was dramatic.
I don't know how they.
I promise to fight for the living.
was huge. It was amazing, amazing. Very, very, very satisfying and fulfilling. Emotional. It's an amazing, amazing journey.
It's an enormous part of my life. Really is just it has tracked the progression of me as a human being, let alone me as an actor. So it's a huge amount of life that I'm leaving behind in the realms of what the 10 years of the show has been for me.
In many areas, it changes your life, and it's an act. We turned up and did our job, and it's an acting job, and it's one of the best I'll ever be involved in.
I continue to be inspired by Brienne of Tarth's overriding sense of good and her resilience to try again. Let's hope that any of us can one day reach those heights.
This is unrepeatable. It's a unicorn. Everything came together at exactly the same time. It was a perfect storm of gorgeousness.
I've been limping for the last 3 or 4 years with fights, and I'm getting older, and my knees are shot, and
we're all injured.
Yeah, we're all injured.
We're all just damaged goods.
Het is zeker wel iets waarvan ik denk, ja, dit ga ik misschien niet meer zo snel meemaken.
The biggest impact it's had has been the friends that I've made.
It's just been the best masterclass ever.
Storm of gorgeousness.
A storm, a superstorm, a
tsunami.
A tsunami of gorgeousness.
Voilà, dat was een tsunami aan topinterviews. Voor mij sprongen Gwendolyn Christie, die Brienne of Tarth speelt in de serie, en natuurlijk Emilia Clarke, de drakenkoningin, er echt bovenuit. Maar laat me vooral ook weten wie jullie lievelingsacteur of actrice is uit Game of Thrones, hieronder in de comments. En als je genoten hebt van deze video, vergeet je dan niet te abonneren op ons YouTube-kanaal.